Welcome, my friends, to the Bob and Brad podcast. My name is Mike Keenitz, and today I am joined by Sarah Zahab, who is a registered kinesiologist, a clinical exercise physiologist, and author of Walk Your Way Fit. Her book challenges the idea that walking isn't real exercise and shows how it can be one of the most powerful tools for building health, strength, and longevity. We'll dive into her journey, the surprising benefits of walking, and how anyone can fit movement into their daily life. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
We are going to be talking about your recent book, Walk Your Way Fit. You have it in the background there, but for our audience, here's a good image of it if you're curious. You're even on the cover of this one, aren't you?
I am.
Right in the front, leading the pack, huh?
Yeah.
So I think we'll just kind of get into the questions right away. And the first one I think makes the most sense is, what inspired you to write the book, Walk Your Way Fit?
Oh, well, I've been in the industry for 26 years, and I, remember in my early days, just really enjoying walking, loving walking. I taught power walking classes in my 20s. I then joined a race walking group and really enjoyed competing and race walking. And, walking is just one of those super accessible and convenient forms of movement. And it's just, with the epidemics that we have, obesity and individuals not meeting national guidelines for physical activity, I wanted to, create something that would allow people to learn more about this wonderful, easy, convenient form of movement, and how can they make the most out of it.
You do race walking, like races, actually?
Yeah, I used to race walk and compete in race walking competitions, and it's an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, the World Championships are on right now, and our Canadian race walker just won the 35K World Championships. So yeah, race walkers are at the highest level are probably walking a 5K in under 20 minutes. So.
Jeez. That's a lot of, I've seen videos of it. I feel like it's a lot of hip sway, isn't it?
I mean, it looks like it is hip sway. I think that's based on the placement, the foot placement. It sort of gives the appearance of a hip sway, but yeah, it can have a bit of a fuddy appearance. But as long as you're following the rules, ensuring that one foot is in contact with the ground at all times, and landing with a straight leg, you're race walking.
I'm just thinking of it. I don't know if you ever saw Malcolm in the Middle when you were young or not, but do you remember that show?
I remember it. I don't think so.
There was an episode where the dad got into race walking and he had a helmet and this weird spandex suit, and that's what I'm imagining right now. Okay. I realize it's supposed to be funny, not serious, but yeah, that's what I'm
It's okay. It's funny. Yeah.
Anyway, back on topic. So what challenges shaped your approach to fitness today?
Oh, challenges. Early on, being, a female in a male-dominated industry, and, at the time, maybe not having access to a lot of research. Like, women weren't included in clinical trials until the 1990s, and we didn't really have a lot of strong scientific data to support a lot of our claims, and we were seeing a lot of trends and fads, and, we've seen so many shifts in fitness and nutrition over the years, and it's been very confusing, I think, for the average person to sort of know what do I do. There's a lot of confusion out there, but thankfully today we have a lot more sort of solid science and evidence and data to support our claims. And yeah, I think that's probably the biggest one.
Yeah, I would say, like, normally on our main channel at Bob and Brad, we kind of, most of our viewers now are like 50 plus, and they range from variety of fitness, but I feel like the one thing we tell and anyone can pretty much do is to walk. So I think it's a pretty safe form of exercise unless they have some really limiting factor like a deformity in their leg or something. But
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing, right? Even if you have a back injury, most people can walk and feel better when they're walking. It can be a part of recovery, it can be a tool, it could be, part of an overall balanced plan for most people.
Yeah. Yeah, we've interviewed Stuart McGill, who's a big spine expert out of Canada, and he's big on walking, even if you have back pain.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's backed up by top researchers.
Yes.
So how has your definition of fit changed over time?
Um, so, I mean, in my 20s, early 20s, and for 8 years, I competed in fitness competitions where you were judged on your physique and a fitness routine that lasted about 2 minutes. I was fortunate to represent Canada at the Miss Fitness World competition 4 times. Um, and so during those competition years, I was over exercising and extreme dieting. At my leanest, I was maybe 11% body fat. Um, there was a lot of emphasis on being lean. And in the fitness routines, you were judged on a routine that incorporated strength, gymnastics, and dance elements. And so, at the time in my 20s, I was not eating enough at all. Um, we didn't know at the time how dangerous that was, under eating and over exercising. And back then, my thought was, I'm fit. I look fit, and it comes across as wow. But in reality, eating 1,200 calories a day and exercising for 3 hours a day, I was probably at my most like unhealthiest state. I wasn't. Didn't have regular cycles. Everything was sort of out of whack. All of my systems were out of whack. I had low iron. I had low energy. Um, my sleep was off. And I mean, that's a sort of pretty extreme view. And it took a lot of time to sort of recover from, those years of competition, the strain on the body and the low energy availability. And, at the time, I didn't really, even though I was studying kinesiology, I didn't really know the long-term repercussions of that on like bone health and, fertility and just overall health. Um, so, now I know that, that's extremely unhealthy and not balanced. But, the pendulum has swung in the other direction, and we know more and have learned more, and I have a lot more balance in my life. But yeah, I mean, if you see a picture and someone looks super fit, it really doesn't mean that they are fit. And that certainly was the case for me. I was the leanest that I ever was, but I certainly was very far from being fit and healthy.
Yeah, many of those people, I mean, you're in that state for such a short cycle of time. I mean, yeah, obviously have to get down to that state, but yeah, there's been people that have died during that actually,
In some
just
bodybuilding
for being like too lean.
competitions.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's just not healthy. And throughout the year, I mean, if you're doing 4 or 5 shows, I mean, you're prepping,
oh
you're
yeah,
competing, you're maybe off for a week, but then you're back on track again. And it's just like, it's this up and down, and it's really hard on the body.
yeah. I was fascinated by it for a short period of time in my 20s, and then I was like, no, this is too much work.
It's a lot. It's a
I'd
lot.
rather,
Yeah.
I'd rather just keep working out and doing other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why do so many people dismiss walking as not enough when it comes to working out?
Hmm. Well, I think walking, may not be enough, depending. I mean, if you're just sort of puttering around the house and counting those as all of your steps, it's probably not enough. I mean, our national guidelines recommend that we obtain 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity per week, plus, 2 strength training sessions. So, we want to ensure that we're being a little intentional with our walking, and that we're trying to elevate our heart rate. If that's our only form of cardiovascular activity, we want to ensure that we're hitting at least those moderate zones, elevating our heart rate. But also, I think it's important that we don't like silo walking in movement in general into like a 45-minute, a 30-minute, an hour part of our day. I mean, I think we can walk throughout our day, and it's part of, just our lives. I mean, we think of the blue zones, and we think of many cultures around the world where walking is just a part of our day. We're walking to and from places. We're using it as a form of we're commuting, we're out with our families, going for a walk after dinner. It doesn't all have to be like intense and part of our fitness regime, but it can be a part of our overall health and wellness plan, where we're moving more throughout the day. We're spending less time, being sedentary, seated, but we're moving.
Yeah, I noticed a lot when I went. I used to work in nursing homes a lot, and then when I started more YouTube, the nursing homes I were at were quite large, and I would put on about 3 miles a day just walking around.
Wow.
And then just for being home, I was like, wow, I mean, I work out still, and I have a dog, so I walk my dog, but like the
Mhm.
amount of steps that I was doing in a day drastically decreased. And then, I mean, this last year I've been working in a outpatient hospital clinic, so a few days a week I'm on my feet a lot more, but just your everyday activity at whatever your occupation is can really
Yeah.
add a lot of steps to it. So
Yeah. I mean, it all adds up for sure.
yeah, I was just kind of surprised. I was like, oh, I'm not really doing much, even though I have all these planned workouts. I'm like, oh. So how do structured walking workouts different from just everyday movements like we were talking about?
Yeah, I think when we have the intention to get into, those moderate or vigorous zones, we can be a little more purposeful and intentional with our walking. If it's something that we really enjoy and we want to get a little more out of it, we can look at amplifying and our walks and making them a little more challenging. We can look at increasing our speed, and we can look at adding in some other elements like intervals and hills. I think it's just about the intention. I think some walks can be a little easier and just part of our day-to-day, getting around, walking the dog, commuting, and then, others can have a little more purpose to them and structure. And in the book, we sort of outline a number of different sort of walking plans, whether you're training for something or just want to, add a little more intensity. Yeah, I think that's the beauty of walking. There's so much that we can do with it.
So are you still in Canada now?
I am, yes.
I don't know why, but this summer I've seen a lot of people walking around with weighted vests on. It's been around forever. It's nothing new, but I don't know if it's a boom up too, or is that just around? I mean, I'm in Minnesota, so I'm not too far from Canada, but
It is. I think it's everywhere. I mean, the reality is wearing a weighted vest can certainly increase our overall caloric expenditure. Like we may burn a few more calories, um, but wearing a weighted vest is not going to improve our overall bone density or muscle mass. And I think we need to be a little bit careful. Some of the data that we're seeing is maybe being a little cherry picked. It's certainly, we don't have robust and strong data to support wearing a weighted vest in the hopes of increasing bone density or muscle mass yet. And for those who have maybe, pelvic floor issues or joint pain, back pain, it may not be the best tool for everybody. And so, we've been in this industry for a while. We've seen things sort of come and go. I don't know that the trend is here to stay, but certainly if you enjoy wearing it and you feel good and it's working for you, amazing, keep wearing it. But do you need to run out and get a vest because everybody else has one and everyone's saying it's a must for strong bones and muscles? I mean, the gold standard is resistance training. Like we need to strength train for our muscles and our bones. Like that is just irrefutable. And yeah, I get this question a lot, and we just as of now don't really have strong evidence to support wearing the vest for our muscles and our bones. If you want to burn a little bit of extra calories, great. But I would also be mindful of like, how do you feel when you're walking it? Are you a little more symptomatic? Does it feel comfortable? I think there are other ways to obtain those other outcomes. But certainly if it's working for you and you enjoy it, awesome. I personally don't own one.
I have one, but that's when I do resistance training at my house. So, because it makes everything else suck that much more.
Yeah, and I think like if you have a shoulder injury, if you can't lift weights with your hands, wearing the weighted vest can be a great option of performing lower body exercises with the vest. I mean, we certainly have a vest in our clinic that we use to do some power training with certain athletes. But I don't have one to sort of walk around with it, going
Yeah,
out walking with it.
I think they only recommend like 20% of your body weight with walking too. They don't want a
10,
lot.
yeah, it's not a lot.
Yeah, mine's of course way more than that because I always have to make myself work. The only time I think I've done I mean I do a lot of cardio and lifting, but I think the only time I've really done like that is like it's not really fully rucking is also another thing with those weight. It's not a weighted vest, it's like a weighted backpack for people that know what rucking is. But sometimes if I know I have a bigger camping expedition, I might go rucking and hike with that on. Just because I know I have to do that either on my hike or if I'm portaging stuff in the boundary waters, like you literally are carrying your canoe on your shoulders. So
Yeah, I think that is, I mean, I think that's what's critical too, is understanding like what is the purpose and the intention behind these activities. And if you're someone who hikes a lot, if you're carrying a heavy pack and you're training for an expedition or a trip, that's important to sort of, we need to be progressive. We need to progressively load for adaptation. And I think that's really something to take into consideration. Like if you have a trip and you know you're going to be carrying a heavy pack, you want to be sort of building up slowly. Wearing a pack, loading it slowly over time so that you're adapting. Your tissues, your body has that increased capacity so that when it comes time to that trip, like you were saying, Mike, you can carry that pack, carry the canoe over your shoulders, and like do that with ease. And I think that's maybe what gets a little lost is the intention and purpose.
yeah. Actually, I haven't been in boundary waters in a while, but my dad used to take the canoe because it was lighter than our food pack. So well, those canoes are pretty light now. We got carbon fiber ones,
They are pretty light now, and if you're on a multi-day hike, that's a lot of food to be carrying around.
Oh yeah, we were out there for like 5-6 days, so it was.
That's a lot of food,
and we didn't like freeze dried stuff, so it was real food. It was.
Yeah.
It was pretty heavy.
You can only do so much of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the easiest way for someone who's busy or unmotivated to start?
In my years of experience, the people who have been the most successful are the ones who are starting small and progressing slowly. They are consistent. That's pretty much it. Start small, progress slow, and just stay on track. I mean, if you don't know where to start with the lowest denominator, the smallest, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Do that consistently over time, and you'll likely see results. Walking for 10 minutes every other day, if you're at absolute zero, not sure where to start, that could be a good starting point. Do that for a couple of weeks, then switch it to 11 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes. I mean, add slowly, build it up 15, 20 minutes. I mean, over months, you've sort of slowly built that up to maybe a half hour, 45-minute walk. And then you could start to build on that. And the other thing I really like to think about is building on already established routines. So, if you're already brushing your teeth, you like stand on one leg. If you're already, walking to the bus stop, maybe add in an extra loop. Think about things that you're already doing. If you are, weekly having a phone call, a phone meeting, think about doing things with routines that are already established so it doesn't take up a lot of that extra sort of brain mental energy, so you conserve a little bit of your bandwidth. So yeah, start small, progress slow, be consistent, and maybe you can stack it with things that you're already doing. So it becomes a little easier for you.
Yeah, many people I see that walk consistently are normally either with their friends walking, so they
Hmm.
gossip, or um, my mother likes to walk. She used to be a runner, but she's had a hip replacement in the last so
Hmm.
many years. But she walks a lot now, but she will just gab on the phone. That's her thing. But it's a half
Yeah.
hour, she'll just walk and talk on the phone, and that keeps you entertained. So I think just having camaraderie with it kind of helps people stay motivated.
For sure. I make phone calls when I'm out walking. I'll, call my mom, like, just things that I think you just feel better knowing that you've been a little efficient and you can fit it in at the same time. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I like well, I do distance learning, but I'll listen to like audiobooks or podcasts sometime if I want to
Yeah.
learn something at least. I mean, if I have to go fast, I'll listen to music, but I think having something else be occupied. And I would say walking outside is a lot more enjoyable than walking on a treadmill as well.
I mean, there's pros and cons, when the weather isn't really optimal, if it's icy,
Hmm.
snowy, if it's really hot, I mean, this year or this summer, early in the summer, we had a lot of fires, there's a lot of smoke. I think there's a time and a place for the treadmill. If you have to hit a certain speed and time, we can be really accurate with our intention, but yeah, I mean, I'm just such a huge proponent of getting out there, getting outside. I mean, get the fresh air. It's just so rare that, people come back from a walk and go, gee, I wish I didn't do that. Like, no one really regrets like going outside, maybe if it's like really cold or really hot, but, when the weather's nice and um, it's just a way to change the scenery, get a hit of vitamin Z, get the endorphin hit. It's yeah.
So, what mistakes do people make when they begin walking more?
I mean, the classic too much too soon. I think when people are beginning any sort of new fitness regime, that's sort of the thing that I see, people just doing too much too soon. Especially as we age, I think our bodies may need a little more adaptation time. We may need a little more priming. We may need a little more, time for our bodies to acclimate to load and volume and intensity. So taking our time to kind of ease into things. Because what happens is if we do too much too soon, sometimes we're injured and then we're off for a while and then we have to sort of start again, and it just becomes this really frustrating sort of up and down scenario. Um, so, yeah, I mean, again, like starting small, progressing slow, remaining consistent will over time allow us to maybe hit that same endpoint. Um, but yeah, a lot of people complain of like shin splints and, um, just joint pain when they're going too hard, too much. Think about what you're already doing. If you're someone who's not walking at all, going out for like a 5 or 10K may be a bit too much to start with. So thinking about sort of, where your current level of fitness and activity is, and then how can we maybe just take baby steps to sort of increase that over time.
Yeah, I would say too, even if like some people get lazy during winter and don't go out as much, you have to kind of start over again if you took most of winter off. Because even if in the
Mhm.
fall you're walking, say a 5K every day, you start in the spring, you probably mentally can and physically will be able to, but you'll probably be
Sure.
pretty sore afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, some people can tolerate that and that works well, but if you're someone who tends to, get sore, injured, and then also like thinking ahead, like, knowing that maybe the cold weather is coming, how can I maintain my level of physical activity throughout the winter? Is it finding an indoor location? Is it finding a path that's cleared regularly? Um, is it maybe investing in a gym membership, using the treadmill in those months? What are strategies that have worked for you in the past? And how can you, sort of remain consistent? what, what has worked well for you, and what do you need to do? Do you need to enlist the help of a friend? Do you need to use your smartwatch to help guide you to stay on track? What works best for you, and how do you sort of replicate that same environment so that you're not sort of taking a step back, you can continue to move forward.
I could tell when I interview people that also have to deal with winter because they give tips like that.
Canadian winter.
Some of my other, those southern state people I interview, sometimes they don't think about that part. But so what's the benefits of walking go beyond just physical health?
Yeah, I mean, like many other exercises, I mean, the mental benefits, the clarity, and the mood enhancing benefits, we're more creative. And then things like sleep and we were talking about, like, going with friends, talking on the phone. I mean, those social connections are important too. There's just so many benefits beyond just, heart health, muscle health, circulation, lymphatics. I mean, we often don't think about our brain when we're walking, but certainly there are, like, we feel better, we're in better moods, we're less likely to be depressed or anxious. Gives us a great opportunity to sort of clear our minds, think things through. A lot of my writing the walking book, much of it happened after walking. Like 50% of the book that I wrote on walking occurred after walking. Like, I would walk and think of these ideas, and I'd come back and feel fresh and jot them all down. And a lot of people are sort of, they're at their desks and they think they just kind of have to like work through, but taking that short 10-15 minute walk, when they're back at their desks, we know that the return on the investment is huge. I mean, you're more efficient and you're a more productive employee by taking that short break, getting outside, going for a little walk. So good.
Yeah, often that. I kind of like my days where I'm doing YouTube stuff because I can take those breaks. Days when I'm with patients, it's a little different story.
It's harder.
Sometimes I wish I could, because after you get done dealing with patients all day, you're just kind of brain's a little fried. But I would say take it. That's a big mood changer. There's often times that I feel like I need a nap, and then I just go walk, and I'm like, oh, never mind, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Just wants to put you to sleep staring at a screen after a while.
It's true.
So how does go big or go home culture hold people back when it comes to walking?
It's interesting. I have many of my clients they're very much like a black and white sort of, they feel they have to be like on 100%, or if they didn't achieve their strength, their walks, their this, then they're just, they're off completely. And there's so much gray in exercise and movement. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect week in, week out. It has to be, it can ebb and flow. There's flexibility. If you didn't hit your whatever it is, it's okay. You can do a little bit less certain weeks if you don't have the energy, if you're sick, or if you're just feeling low. Do something to kind of keep you on track. And then that things will, when your energy's back, when you're feeling better, things will sort of come back up again. But it's a very common, and I personally was of that mentality as well. Like, it had to be extreme, and it had to be, full out and 100% all the time. And we know that can be damaging at times, and it takes away from the overall balance, and it just takes away from, I mean, life isn't always like that. We're going to have times when we're sick, or we're low on energy, or we have to care for a loved one, or we're dealing with really intense, life events. I think it's just important to allow ourselves to have a little bit of grace and flexibility, and have that overall balance, which isn't easy. It takes time to sort of learn that, right?
Yeah, I would say don't let yourself get in a vicious cycle of, if you're out of it, you're out of it. Just try to do what you can, and then eventually you'll kind of come back around. So
exactly, yeah.
I would say that happens a lot more. I feel like I'm sure it happens in Canada too. Once we start getting into winter, because some people go to work and it's dark, and they get home it's dark, and they don't want to do anything because there's a lack of sunshine. But
Yeah, and for, those who are in colder climates, I mean, we could have snow for like 4 months out of the year. It's finding something that you enjoy. Like maybe it's snowshoeing, maybe it's skiing, maybe it's skating. I think, having some sort of, um, something that kind of gets you out. And, you know, if it's walking, I mean, I walk all the time, all year. It doesn't bother me. But for some people, that can be a bit of a challenge, depending on stability and, is the footing secure? So it's finding something that works for you that allows you to sort of stay on track.
yeah, so this kind of relates to that question. On tough days, what keeps you moving forward?
I mean, that has certainly evolved over the years, but what keeps me moving forward is like knowing that I'll sort of get back on track. So I have no qualms about taking a day off, taking a rest day, if I need a few days, if I'm sick. For me, historically, if I feel like I'm fighting something, if I have gone out and pushed hard, inevitably I will get sick. So I have learned to just ease off if I'm fighting something. Rest is sometimes best. And for me, I have learned that, less is more. Um, Training smarter, not harder can be, a good strategy for many. Um, so yeah, I'm okay with doing a little bit less, knowing that, I'll get back on track. So if things are tough, I will take it easy, and I'm totally okay with it.
Yeah, I would say motivation comes and goes a lot. You're not going to be motivated. A lot of times you just have to be consistent.
It's action.
I
Hmm.
think just having a routine helps.
Yep.
Like this day, I'm going to do this. Maybe your routine is very specific depending upon what your goal is. Maybe it's more vague, but you at least have a rough goal of I need to do this today if I want to or not, because I know once I do it, I will feel good and I'll be happy I'm there doing it. It's just kind of like getting out of the house after work when you just got home. It's kind of hard sometimes, but I feel like
Yeah.
if you have some purpose or someone you're meeting, it kind of really helps out.
Absolutely. Figuring out what keeps you on track, and doing a little bit of something. So maybe I'll just do, if instead of whatever I had planned, I'll just do a shorter, modified version of it, just a 10-minute walk, do something smaller, shorter, and I'll still feel good knowing that I've gotten out to do something, but it doesn't have to be, you know, it can be a little bit less, and it can be okay.
Yeah. So, what belief did you have to unlearn to live your current message?
Oh, I mean, I've gone from like extremes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the science has evolved, and we've learned so much over the years. Um, yeah, I mean, I've had to unlearn that, more is not always better. Again, less is more. I've really been living by that message. Training smarter and being very, thinking about the intent of what I want to achieve and the purpose behind it, and not just doing a lot of volume for the sake of volume. Um, and yeah, I mean, thinking about like I want to be in this for the long haul, right? So what I was doing before was not really serving me to, get to where I want to be in terms of like my health and longevity. Um, so yeah, I had to unlearn a lot of patterns that weren't healthy. I had to unlearn a lot of sort of mental. There were a lot of mental roadblocks, I think, but I think now I just have more balance and flexibility, and overall, I think I'm healthier for it.
Yeah, I think looking at I didn't do it in my 20s. I've been doing it now that I'm in my later 30s of can I do this type of work? Obviously, it wouldn't be probably at the same pace, but when
Mhm.
I'm like 60 or 70, like, can I realistically see myself doing this? Because then it's idealistically, it's a good workout for longevity, not just I could do this now and grind it out, but I might pay for it later.
Yeah, it's like my kids are teens. I want to be able to like do things for a while with them. I want to be able to be independent in my 80s and 90s. I want to be able to walk forever. I want to be able to, live vibrantly. I want to be able to get up and off the floor, 40 years from now. And that means I need to be, really smart with how I'm training right now. I need to be consistent and I need to be strong and I need to, make sure I stay on my feet and I remain mobile and flexible. And yeah, it's not about like the intensity or how much I can lift. It's about, am I challenging myself so that I could see those outcomes for me later?
Sure. So, what feedback from readers has surprised you the most?
Um, I mean, the book has only been released for a little while now, but I think, a few times I've heard when people get their hands on it, they're like, wow, there's so much in here. I mean, it's very, like, it's comprehensive. We have a lot. I mean, people think walking, okay, walking, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the anatomy is there, the gait mechanics, we have modifications, injury prevention, we talk about amplification tips and strategies, we have warm-ups and stretches and cool downs, and we have like 3 chapters on different walking workouts, whether you're training for something. We have a whole chapter on strength training. There's a lot of like color photographs and it's like easy to read. And it's like you're complete, if you like to walk, enjoy walking. It's a great resource and there's a lot in there, I think, that can benefit a lot of people.
It sounds like something a kinesiologist would say.
Probably.
Uh, so, what advice would you give your younger self about your health?
My younger self about my health.
I should say about health in general,
Yeah,
not your
think
health
about,
specifically.
yeah. I mean, think about long term. Think about balance. Is what you're doing now going to help you in the long run? Um, just yeah, maybe think less is more. Just that overall balance, I think, is important to consider. I mean, when we're young, we think we're bulletproof, right? I mean, we think we can do anything and everything without um, long-term repercussions. But sometimes hearing that messaging is important. Like, you know, that overall
Yeah,
balance is key.
sometimes you get injured and then you get upset with the injury and then it turns into a whole
Hmm.
different thing.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
sure you've had that happen as well.
Yes, and seen it in many of our clients, right? It's frustrating.
Yeah. So, how do you measure success in fitness and wellness today?
Um, I mean, for me, I don't own a scale. I don't wear a smartwatch. For me, the measure of health and fitness and wellness is, it's my energy, it's my sleep, it's how strong I'm feeling. It's different sort of outcome measures than maybe when I was in my 20s. But I mean, it's thinking about, remaining consistent. It's thinking about my heart health. It's thinking about preventing disease. We have a strong genetic predisposition in my family for certain, cancers and conditions. And I'm really thinking about, can I, be, fit in order to prevent a lot of these diseases and conditions. And, can I do this to sort of feel good in my body, not just, you know, how much do I weigh or what size of clothing I have or how, what my, um, you know,
Feel
HRV
attacked.
is right now.
Feel attacked right now.
But I think that's really important for some people. Like, a lot of my clients are really big into numbers, and data is very important. And so I think, if you're driven by that, that's a very good tool for someone to use. Um, for me, as long as, like that, it's different for everybody. And um, I'm pretty self-motivated, so I can kind of, you know, um, yeah, do those things without needing. And for me also, I find that I can get a little bit addicted, and it can be a little kind of um,
Game.
almost obsessive, with trying to hit the numbers. And so for me, it's better to just like not look, not know, and just kind of be a little more intuitive with how I'm feeling. But yeah, it's different for everybody. And I think for a lot of people, it can be super beneficial.
Yeah, I will admit a smartwatch is kind of like your phone. When you like hit your goals, you get that little dopamine hit or that
Yeah. Yeah.
notification, or oh wow, I beat my goals by like way more than I normally do, and it's but I don't know. I guess it's kind of a catch-22. I like it to a point, but
Yeah.
I also grew up without it for a very long time, so it's not like I know how to live without it. But yeah,
I mean, it can be a great motivating tool, great
my friends and I
motivation.
like compare our tan lines from ours, but so what's next for you after Walk Your Way Fit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, catching my breath a little bit. And I mean, I, run a clinic here in Canada, and, focusing on that. And I've also co-created a women's wellness course for fitness and health practitioners. So focusing a little bit on that. Um, yeah, that's pretty much on the docket for the next little bit.
So where can people find your book, and do you have a website for your clinic or other things as well you'd like to mention?
Yeah, so Walk Your Way Fit can be found many different bookstores, Amazon, Chapters Indigo, many local bookstores have it, the humankinetics.com.ca websites. Um, and on Instagram, we're at Continuum Fit. And yeah, that's where you can find us.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Do you have any last remarks or comments you'd like to make?
Well, thanks so much, Mike. It was great to chat. And I think, yeah, just, remain consistent, do what you can. And walking can be a great tool for many.